but they built it upon, I mean, we can get into all of the origins of it, but I mean, they built upon the whole Prussian model of education. The 1800s though, so I don't know, you might want to get that out pretty soon.
I like history here because, like, dude, you're the guy taking on Rockefeller.
Yeah.
You're a little worried about your life?
No, not too much. I think the Rockefellers kind of, I don't know, you don't see him around as much anymore.
You see him in emails.
Yeah,
you do see him in emails.
Were they in there? I've kind of.
Yeah.
You really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not the actual people. I haven't seen that yet, but like all the mentions of them were in the Epstein file.
I saw the Rothschilds are kind of like the orchestrator of like they kind of synced up a lot of the people. Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
You're the ESPN. What was it?
Oh, the last guy I had in was he was an ESPN basketball writer who fell into the Epstein story and went fucking bonkers 5 years ago. Okay. Wrote the greatest thing ever, this guy Henry Abbott, and no one read it at the time. And now, like, I've been shouting it out, so people are like, "Holy shit, this is a treasure trove." Mm-hmm. So that was cool.
Yeah, the Rockefellers. I mean, they're definitely they get a lot of the credit for the industrial model of education, but they built it upon, I mean, we can get into all of the origins of it, but I mean, they built upon the whole Prussian model of education, and they're still very involved. I mean, the Rockefeller, their foundation is still heavily invested into local school board meetings, trying to win local school board elections, very, very involved.
That's wild. We're going to definitely, I love the history of all this stuff too, because by the way, your documentary, awesome, man.
Oh, thanks.
It was one of those because this was a last minute podcast. So I'm like, oh, we got Spencer coming in today. Let me take a look at this real quick. I'm sitting there like this, like googly eyed, watching the whole thing. He did an amazing job. So we'll get into that. But it's funny when I have guys like you in here. I was telling you off camera, it's like a little bit full circle because I'm watching you on Impulsive in like 2018, 2019. And then like back engineering how to do all the equipment on a podcast, going off about 10 to 15 shows. Impulsive's one of them. Yeah. And now you're like, what's up, fam? We want to go on your show. Like, that's very, very cool.
Of course. Yeah, I've been watching you grow ever since too, man. It's cool to see behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's not much, right? It's
you and Joey, you're cooking in here. I love it.
That's right. I cook right there. I sleep right there.
Literally cooking, yeah.
And that's it. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's what it's about, though. Yeah, you don't need much, man.
You don't want to.
That's so cool. I love that about the stage of journalism that we're in, and just the stage of entertainment and media that we're in. It's just getting to the point where it's so decentralized.
Yes.
And decentralization is key. I mean, we'll get into that with education, and we went down this centralized path where everything in society was moving more and more towards centralization. And, we've seen through history, it's any time we really drift into centralization of power, media, authority, schooling, it's not a good path. Doesn't end well.
I think you're right. I think the data supports that for sure. And that was what I really took from the doc as well. Like, you seem to be drawn on a lot of other themes, like obviously it's focused on the education system and how it got bastardized, but like a lot of themes outside of it that are just like, what are we doing here? But you left LA in 2019?
2019, yeah. Right as COVID hit.
Right.
It's like right as the fences went up on the beach in Santa Monica. I was like, I'm out.
I'm gone. It's a good call.
I bought an Airstream and just traveled the country.
You bought an Airstream.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah. It was
balling like that.
Well, it was crazy. I mean, I had saved up from Impulsive enough to get the Airstream and just start going. And I was kind of getting a little burnt out from the LA, like influencer media space. And I wanted to do something different. So, I left, hit the road for a couple of years during COVID, and then went full-time humanitarian in 2022.
Wow. When you went on the road, where'd you go?
All over the place, a bunch of national parks. Like I went up to the Redwoods for a while. Just went up to Humboldt. Oh man, have you been? No.
I've heard great things.
Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, 3 quick things. Number 1, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's a huge, huge help. Number 2, if you'd like to join my Patreon for early uncensored releases of the full episodes, you can join via the link in my description or in the pinned comment below. And number 3, if you'd like to join my clipping community for a chance to make content from the show and make money, you can join via the Discord link in my description below.
The Redwoods will change your life. I mean, it changed my life, man. Those trees, they're the biggest trees in the world.
No masks out there, right?
Masks?
You didn't have to wear
I didn't wear that. Yeah. I ditched those. It was crazy. I went to Zion National Park, and they had shut down. It was like around the time when they were telling people don't go outside, which is crazy because it's like the best thing you could possibly do. Like we found going inside and being in the AC was like the worst way to spread the virus. And so I was in Zion National Park and there's supposed to be like 30,000 people and there was no one. It was a ghost, like no one. I was driving through the national park and there wasn't a single car. It was the trippiest thing I've ever experienced.
That's kind of nice though, having a place like that to yourself. It's like you're just a speck out there in the world where things are simple. You don't have 40 news stations showing death counts on the side of the screen all day. You just get in touch with the outdoors. Like, sounds simple, but it's the best medicine.
Absolutely. It made me realize how much of it was a psyop in the sense of, you know, just fear. It was all fear-based. And as information started to come out and show, you know, kids aren't as affected, and it really started to show who was really the ones that were at risk, but then they just locked everyone down. You know, it's like, that's another example of like a standardized approach, right? That was like the apex of a standardized system. Let's just throw a standardized solution at this problem. And we see, especially with education, oh my gosh, man, it's disastrous what happened because of COVID with schooling. I mean, kids are still not recovered pre-pandemic academics. Like they're still, 2 years behind.
Yeah.
And then you have the CDC reported 1 out of every 5 kids thought about killing themselves in 2023.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Which is just like,
and that's like any kids, like what, like 10 to 18 or
maybe
in that area?
Yeah, it was like middle school, high school range, I believe, the study. There's like over 40% of kids right now are experiencing extreme feelings of sadness or hopelessness. So it's just, we're living through right now a cataclysmic moment with mental health. Absolutely cataclysmic.
What made you, obviously you have this experience like a lot of us did, where we see the pandemic as ass backwards. You get out in nature, you see it's really ass backwards once you're out there. But like you said, there's this whole theme of like, you know, centralization is causing all these problems, but then you end up honing in on the school system and particularly to do this documentary. What made you choose that?
Well, I was getting a ton of backlash online because I was just, I'd got COVID very early. And I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. I was trying to be compassionate to, other people. But then I started to realize, to what end? And I lost 80,000 followers because I was speaking out about the vaccine mandates. I was speaking out against when they started saying it's safe and effective. So I grew up in Michigan and we grew up near Upjohn, which was bought by Pfizer. And they had that was back in like 2009 when they had that huge $2 billion it was like the largest criminal settlement from a pharmaceutical company up to that point. Wow. I think it was 2009.
Yeah.
And so they were lying about some of their medications and some of their products. And so that was like, we had that in the back of our mind because we grew up, Michigan is like a lot of pharmaceutical companies there. You have like Stryker Medical, you had Pfizer.
Yeah, Michigan and right here in Jersey. They're all like a half hour away. Oh, yeah. All of them. Dave's got it. Justice Department announces largest healthcare fraud settlement in history. Pfizer to pay $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing. This is from September 2009. Spot on. Wow.
So I had that in the back of my mind. And so when they came out and they're like, hey, Pfizer, we created this vaccine. It's 100% safe and effective. Instantly in my mind, I was like, that's I just called it. And so I was putting that out online. I was like, this is complete. There's no chance. Just use common sense. Look at their data and their studies. It was a joke. But you look at, just use common sense. You cannot do a long-term study on a product that just came out, right? So I was like, I don't know. I think this is gonna backfire. I think people that are gonna get this are probably going to get regretted. And then they started like pushing, people to get the vaccine or else you're going to lose your job and all these things that were just unconstitutional. So I saw all that. But to answer your question, that was going on. I was getting just an insane amount of negative backlash online. And so I was like, you know what, let me just like focus on editing my film. And I'd been working on it for, it took me a decade to make this film.
The one you just put out.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So this was on your mind for a long time.
It was. And so I finally
you.
just locked in. I was like, you know what? Let me just lock in on this edit. Let me stop focusing on social media and just get this done.
Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. They're both a huge, huge help. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below.